Okay, so for this next challenge, you're going to be drawing this shape right here. You can see it's like a hexagon spiral, and there's kind of spiraling inward. And on the surface, this looks like a really complex shape, but as you dig a little bit deeper into it, it's not overly complex. You have a lot of repeated patterns though. So I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to kind of walk you through the pattern. We're going to draw a hexagon, a six-sided polygon. We're going to go forward a little bit, and then we're going to draw a slightly smaller, and we're going to turn some small angle, and then we're going to draw a slightly smaller hexagon. Then we're going to go forward a little bit less than we did before and repeat that process. So what you have here is a hexagon that you're going to keep doing over and over. You could use a for loop here. You're going to have an angle that you keep turning, and it looks like this angle is about the same each time, but the distance you go forward is going to get a little bit smaller, and the size of the hexagon itself is going to get a little bit smaller. So when you're building this, the hint that I can give you is that you're going to want to you're going to start with basically a for loop, and within that for loop you'll take each of these steps. Make a hexagon of some variable length, go forward of some variable distance, turn some angle, shrink the length of the hexagon, shrink the length of that forward distance, and repeat. Okay, and if you're doing that, you should get something pretty cool like this. There is a recommendation I want to make too as far as the coding goes. You might notice that when your drawbot turns, it leaves a pretty heavy dot behind where it's bleeding through the paper. And what you can do to avoid that is, whenever in the turn functions for left and right, you can add the pen up and the pen down functions so that when your drawbot turns, it lifts the pen up so it's not bleeding, and then it puts it back down when it finishes the turn. Now you can try this and see if you like it. You don't have to do this. If you want to eliminate the bleeding, this is, I think, a good way to do it. So if you're interested, you could test it out and see if you like it. And yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, so hopefully this is good enough to get you started. The last thing I want to mention, so that shape is like a hexagon spiral. So we could call it like a hexa spiral or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And I would build a function for it. You know, every time we do something like this, I would recommend adding another function. You're taking the time to create all these shapes and these processes. You might want to use them later. And maybe after a while we've created all these things, you want to string a bunch of them together to create a picture or something. So the different patterns you create, store them in a function, and you can call that function later. So you can call your hexa spiral, and then a triangle, and then a circle, and then, you know, kind of whatever you want to do there, and that will allow you to I think that's just a way that you can kind of start to build up kind of like a library of drawings that your drawbot is capable of doing. Okay,